I'm talking to my friends Ed and Rita. Hi, Ed. Hi, Rita.
Hi.
So I am asking people, how has your lifestyle changed since our community, our whole country, is dealing with the COVID-19 crisis? How has your lifestyle changed?
Well, we certainly don't go. There's a group of us that had birthday parties together. Any social contact at all, that's all been stopped.
It's by phone or sometimes video conference with friends. That's different.
Yeah, that's how we've gotten around it, but it's still a lot different to not be in, having a party at someone's house or going out together someplace. And shopping, of course, has changed a lot. Arbor Farms created senior hours from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. in the morning every day. So that's when I go shopping. Very careful. I bring my own bottle of alcohol and paper towels to wipe the cart. And also, there's a doctor in northern Michigan who showed how to deal with groceries or anything that you bring in your house, the boxes. That video's on YouTube, and also Sanjay Gupta reiterated it on CNN. He did his own version. He gave credit to this doctor.
I think the doctor in Michigan did a good job. He was very specific.
Yeah.
So what exactly are you doing then? Can you describe it?
So Ed brings in the food, and I mostly do the cleanup. So I actually wash with soap and water some of the fruit that we bring. All the fruit that we bring in. So like grapefruits, wash.
Wait, this wouldn't be a normal conversation if I didn't interrupt you. So.
Oh yeah, okay.
So we use Dr. Bronner's soap, which has for hand soap and for dish soap and all that, and all of their formulations have zero or very few chemicals in them. They're mostly oil and sodium hydroxide. So that's what we use to wash fruit.
Right.
Yeah.
And we sometimes we either leave boxed items out on the porch or in our garage, and then bring them in after a couple of days, or we pull the containers out. So if it's like a box of crackers, we pull out the inside and throw away the cardboard. So it's pretty simple stuff, but it is different from how we have done things before, which was just pull them out of a bag and throw them in the refrigerator. So it's a little more time consuming that way.
So I remember the name of the doctor. He's, I think in Grand Rapids, his name's Van Wingen. And I'm sure that video's all over the place now. But he's basically air chambering what comes into the house. You can let it sit for 3 or 4 days. He says the virus doesn't last much longer than that on surfaces, lasts longer on plastic. I remember plastic and metal, I guess hard surfaces, lasts for a shorter time on softer surfaces. But anyway, letting it sit, and also if we have to bring up at least a small container, not a big container in the house, if we're keeping the container, wipe the outside with alcohol. Otherwise, we open the container, dump whatever's in it in something clean, and toss the container.
So would you say that you're going out as frequently as you did before?
No, I would say we're much less spontaneous than we were, and it's because we would just occasionally go out and visit friends, or for me in particular, I used to participate in public meetings, city council, some commission meetings, and I do those because they aren't even available. And so one of the big learning curves was to pick up on Zoom or other software approaches to sharing meetings or being in touch with people. It's definitely less spontaneous.
And an important one along those lines, VNP, Voters Not Politicians, was going to have, I hope they still do, a big Get Out the Vote campaign this summer. Probably would have started pretty soon, and of course that can't happen, so it's going to be either really good or really bad what's going to happen with voting this year and getting out the vote. So it's nothing that, well, I was going to say not directly affects us, but it sure does in the long term.
And the May voting in Michigan is going to be all by mail. It's my understanding of it through the Secretary of State. So that's I think that's a good thing. We won't have any elections here in Ann Arbor, but I like the idea of everyone getting a ballot instead of having to request it. That's pretty cool. And a variation of the expanding the absentee voting process that started as of 2018.
So
Oh.
I'm hearing some residents complain that when they look around the community, they feel like some folks are not changing their lifestyle. And do you have any advice for people, maybe people who are just feeling really isolated and cooped up and wish they could go about their lives the way they once were? Do you have any advice for them about how you're coping?
Yes, in fact, one thing that's happening to me, it sounds totally counterintuitive, but I'm getting more exercise. We luckily have a friend a block away who walks her dog every day, so we walk with her every day. And luckily we have a canoe, so we'll be canoeing, probably starting in a couple of days also. And we see lots of people walking in the parks. It's not just us. People are
Right.
definitely getting out
in
more.
terms of answering Elizabeth's question, I do see people, in terms of reaching out to others, I guess I have heard, and I've tried to practice this a little more, just to actually phone someone, because I've gotten in the habit of using text and email instead of voice, and I've been making more efforts to be in touch with people by actually phoning them. I think that kind of connection is a little more human, but it does take a little more effort, and it's breaking something that some people have gotten used to, like me.
And actually, we've been talking about painting the inside of our house. We got the outside the last 2 or 3 years, but we've been talking about painting the inside for about 10 years now. So maybe this summer we actually will.
Well, I thank you for talking to me. I think I've got enough, and I appreciated our conversation.
Thanks, Elizabeth.